what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoot, back with the World Showdown series, and we have our Season 6, week number 11 prep here. Not actually a battle. What had happened was the World Showdown series ended, I believe, on the 10th of February, and I'm recording this on the 19th. I think the day after playoffs was made on the 18th. So what had happened was the San Jose Starlets, coached by my boy Sean, or Blind Messiah, he just went MIA. I contacted him at the beginning of February, I believe it was on the 3rd or the 4th, and I heard back from him on the 6th, but all he said was he didn't get my first ping or my first DMs or anything like that, which is a little bit unfortunate, and I don't know if he could have played had he gotten it sooner. But what had happened was he was just unable to play his last 3 games. Fortunately for him, one of those games was against another player who could not play. So he actually did pick up his 6th win via forfeit in week 9, but his week 10 and 11 battles were forfeited to his opponents. And I was his week 11 opponent, so I was given a forfeit win over him. Put him at 6-5, I believe. But it also put us at 6-5 as well. And we were actually with a better differential. So we grabbed the 6th spot in the playoffs. We did it. We did it. But all that being said, I did want to talk about my prep versus his team. I brought a little bit of a different approach this match. Something I was just a little bit uncomfortable with, to be completely honest. But I felt like, I hadn't brought it all season, so I wanted to try it out, see if it could work. And I know he's got things like Hippo and his sand core, so he's got like 2 times speed on things like Excadrill and Stoutland within sand, and then he's got Unburdened Hitmonlee, which would also have 2 times speed as well if he gets his Unburdened boost. But despite all that, I decided that I was going to bring an Aegislash with Autotomize, Flash Cannon, Shadow Ball, and my last move was King Shield, so that I could always protect myself and things like that. So that was the idea behind Aegislash. I wanted to be able to come in and take hits from things like, in my shield form, I could take hits from Tapu Lele and Mega Diancie pretty comfortably. Obviously Shadow Ball and Earth Power from Tapu Lele and Mega Diancie respectively would hurt, but in my shield form it's not gonna OHKO or probably not 2-hit KO, which is really nice. And I felt like I could use them, or even something like Vaporeon, a Roarless Vaporeon to set up on, potentially even Druddigon. I don't see him necessarily packing Dragon Tail or anything like that. I don't see any reason on my squad for him to do that. So I felt like I could use those as an opportunity to set up, and as long as I had Stealth Rocks up and let Hydreigon and Mega Gardevoir put in the work, then I felt like Autotomize Aegislash could finish up. And that was the idea behind the squad. We had a Taunt, Roost, Dark Pulse, I think Dark Pulse and Flash Cannon on Hydreigon. Flash Cannon hits Tapu Lele harder, and OHKO's Mega Diancie, so if we can catch that up on switching, that would be really nice. Dark Pulse pretty much 2-hit KOs things like Excadrill, Decidueye, offensive Druddigon, things like that. I didn't really feel the need to pack any dragon coverage or anything like that. I guess his best way to respond to the set that I brought would be Hitmonlee, actually, which is interesting. Or even if he was, brought his own Ditto. And again, that's another reason I didn't bring dragon coverage, is because Ditto could not touch my Hydreigon either with things like Dark Pulse. And his Ditto would only have 5 PP of every move, so something to think about as well. Mega Gardevoir was straight up Hyper Voice, would just merch my opponent's squad. I didn't feel the need to run Psychic coverage outside of maybe Moltres, but like I said earlier, I didn't think Moltres was a huge threat to my squad. I didn't see it being brought. I have Terrakion, I have Rotom Heat, Dugtrio, and Crocodile, which could both outpace potentially and knock out with Stone Edge. So I didn't see a reason that he would bring Moltres. So I felt like, I didn't have to run Psychic on my Mega Gardevoir for that. And Hyper Voice 2-hit KOs after Stealth Rocks anyway, so it's not too big of an issue. And my last move was, I believe, Focus Blast. Focus Blast. Or no, actually, yeah. Let me pull up my placement action. Okay, so we had Hyper Voice, Wish, Protect, and Will-O-Wisp. Reason being is we didn't really want to stay in on Excadrill anyway. Maybe if it switches in, I can catch it with a Will-O-Wisp or something like that. Burn his entire team would be really nice. Throw off Fat Wishes. Same thing for Licky Licky, another Wishmon with, I think my set was Earthquake and what was my last move? Earthquake and maybe Knockoff. Wish Protect on Licky Licky. And then Crocodile was Taunt, Earthquake, Knockoff, and Stealth Rocks. I have to have a Stealth Rocker on the team, obviously, and have an Intimidate there. So like a defensive, like it's actually kind of more Spadef on Licky Licky and more defensive on Crocodile and Go-Goat to try to combat his Sand Team, things like that. And I felt like Mega Diancie can't break through my Licky Licky unless it gets like a crit or something like that. Anyways, Crocodile being able to come in and could be a designated lead or at that. I had the Roselli Berry so that if he was to lead off with Tapu Lele or Mega Diancie, I could always stay in and get some big damage off on him, maybe weaken him. It's not necessarily the best, but in a pinch it could work out really well because I feel like getting rid of those two mons isn't really the goal. The goal is to get rid of things like Excadrill, Hippo, Ditto, and the Stoutland. His Sand Core is really terrifying. So getting rid of those with things like Licky Licky, Crocodile, and Go-Goat is the idea. So Go-Goat is actually a Leech Seed. I think Horn Leech, Milk Drink, and I want to say my last move was Toxic for the Decidueye, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, it can take hits from pretty much his entire squad as well, outside of the Moltres, and be a huge annoyance for my opponent. So that was the idea behind that. As you can see, my opponent has Z Excadrill and Z Stoutland, so both of his Sandmons, but they haven't really tore up the league as much as things like Mega Diancie has. Mega Diancie is his kill leader. It's been ripping up the league. I do see how people could, draft Sand and abuse it week after week after week. I actually did that last season of this league in season 5. I had the Psychic Terrain with Mega Alakazam and Tapu Lele, and I abused it really badly. So yeah, that's the idea behind the squad, was to eliminate his Sand Core, or at least weaken him to the point where things like Hydreigon, Mega Gardevoir can put in the work, so I could eventually use Aegislash to set up and win. I actually built 3 different squads. One was built around more bulk, like all of my mons were like Toxic Protect, except for like Hydreigon and Mega Gardevoir, and my Hydreigon was the Scarf variant and a different build of the squad, things like that. Anyways, I don't have any battle coverage, so what I'm going to do is, leave it at that for my prep for week number 11 and talk about the playoff bracket. So for season 6, we're going to be facing off in round 1. We're going to be facing off against the Crystal Crawdonts, coached by Crystal. We faced him in, I believe, week number 5, where we picked up our first win, and we had a big show off in that match with Mega Gardevoir, pretty much 6-0 in his squad, sub Calm Mind variant. We won 6-0, and I do believe my opponent will be coming back for revenge. On the other side of the bracket, we have Tony and his Canterbury Conquerors taking on Checkmate and his Twickenham Pessimians. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. They actually just played a few days ago for their late matches or whatever. We're all caught up now. Everybody that wasn't active or whatever got forfeit losses or ties, and now this is the playoff bracket. So we got the Crystal Crawdonts taking on my Blackmont Raikougars, and then we got the Canterbury Conquerors taking on the Twickenham Pessimian. So that'll be that. The 2 people that got a bye round were the Rainbow Taco and his Adelaide Honchkrows, and Mora and his Monterey Gyarados. Top 2 seeds. Definitely showed off really well this season, both of them playing fantastically. I lost to them back to back in weeks 2 and 3, and hopefully I get a chance to redeem myself against potentially both of them. I don't think I played Checkmate this season. No, he took over for an opponent, or he took over for another coach. And I did play the other coach and lost. The team's kind of broken with Greninja and things like that. Anyways, I definitely want to win versus Crystal, and I want to play Rainbow Taco again and give him a better match this time. I do feel like my team's better equipped for this match than it was last time. I've made quite a bit of trades since then. I feel like we don't necessarily have the greatest matchup. Mega Lopunny still runs through, but there's things we can do to work around that. Anyways, I played Tony earlier in the season, and I kind of choked versus him. Let Rotom take way too much damage when it was my win con. Played poorly there. So I don't really want to play Tony again because I felt like, I had that game. But I did lose to Mora pretty, not I wouldn't say convincingly, but we had a tight game, and I would like to play him. So if I can get past Crystal, then I'll move on to Rainbow Taco, and if I can get past him, hopefully I can play Mora again. But Tony, Chickmate, and Mora are all fantastic battlers, and I wouldn't mind to meet any of them in the finals. But that's just a playoff overview. This is my Week 11 prep, basically just a prep talk and playoff coverage here. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Let me know what you guys think about this prep. I know it's kind of different than what I've did all season. Let me know what you guys think about the playoff bracket, or whatever you want to call it, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. So yeah, I'll leave it at that, and I thank you guys for watching.